Today we're going to show you how to wire up your zero turn loader to the controls. This tractor we're working on is an SRT XD with a 61-inch deck made by Spartan, and we make these loaders special in-house just for this application. With your loader you will have two receiver units, one for each electric actuator. If you want to show them, you've got one actuator that lifts the unit up and down and another that tilts the bucket back and forth. But the actuators and the wiring units are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which unit goes to which actuator, they'll both work. So that is the receiver unit, and they will be plugged into controls switches so that you can run your actuators up and down. And again, these are the same, so it doesn't matter if these get mixed up, they'll work for both units. Oh, yep. Your receiver unit has two ends. You got a short end with a positive and negative, which is hooked to the power cable for the actuator. So this plugs directly into the actuator like this. You'll see you got a male and female end on both ends, so you just connect them right like that. And again, it's the same for both actuators, so don't worry if they get switched around. And then the way we do it is we mount this receiving unit right to your mounting bracket for the loader with two self-setting screws. Ours are 3/8. They look like this. They've got the self-tap end there. And we just run it straight into that bracket there to hold the unit. And again, this is not, you can mess with it, whatever's best for your tractor, for your setup. You can figure out where exactly you're going to want your receiver unit to go, but we put ours right there with this is where the control plugs in, so we have that accessible. And just one screw there and another one on this side, just like that. And so you've got your short end of the wires that are plugged into the actuator there, and then the long end on these tractors, you can lift the floor panel straight up because we got to wire these to the battery. And so we run it right up under the frame, through the floor, now we've got our control units mounted to the front of the frame, or to our mounting bracket here. We've got them plugged into our actuators. We've got the wires connected to the battery, positive and negative, and we've run our wires down underneath the frame and all the way back to where the battery is. And so we're going to simply use some zip ties to secure these wires, keep them out of the way, because you see we have some belts and pulleys for the mowing deck. And depending on which model tractor you are using, your setup might be a little different, but what you want to do in any case is just make sure that your wires aren't being interfered with by any moving parts. And so again, we're just using simple zip ties to get these up and out of the way of these pulleys down here. And again, you just want to, depending on your setup, it might look a little different, but you just want to make sure that these do not get messed with, because then it'll unplug your system and probably chop up your wires, and you don't want that. So just take a couple extra minutes, figure out how you're going to want to do that. And again, we're just using zip ties because we find it's simple, it's keeps them secure, and we just don't want anything messing with those. And so once you've got your wires out of the way, you've got you're connected to your battery, you're plugged into your actuators, it's time to plug in your control switches. And again, you'll have two of these, one for each actuator. And these are super simple. It's just a 4-prong switch, and it plugs right into the top of your control unit. one to one. And again, these are all the same, so you can use whip. They won't get mixed up because they'll still work. And then whichever way you want, depending on which model tractor you have or what your setup is, just for demonstration purposes, we're going to zip tie one of these control boxes right to the handle of this mower.